All right, welcome in, hockey fans in the Desert Southwest. It's a big day for Scottsdale. It's a big day for Arizona, the Desert Southwest, and certainly for here at Ice Time Hockey Southwest. Jeremy Roenick is with me, and you got something exciting going on behind us, don't you?
Yeah, it's our first annual Arizona Hockey School, the Jeremy Roenick Hockey School. We've done it for 3 years now in Chicago. So we're doing a little 3-day tester here in Arizona to see how the community reacts to what I think is the best camp, I think, on the planet. I think it's, we're an up-close and personal camp. We have the most coaches on the ice, the most attention, bring in some really cool guests, and make sure that the kids not just are good on the ice, but they're good people off the ice. So it's not just a one-dimensional camp. So so far, Scottsdale has been very good to us. I'm sure we'll be back, but this camp is growing by leaps and bounds, and I'm very thankful that I have a great staff to help me.
For those that don't know, Scottsdale's been your home for a long time, since 1996, you're telling me off camera. So you're not far from home, and it's kind of nice to see the growth of hockey here and the young kids coming out to see you and participate, right?
It's great. I live less than a mile from the rink, so it's nice to be able to give back to the community where I've lived for so long. When we got here in '96, it was a lot of excitement. We got to teach, the residents of the Valley the game of hockey, NHL hockey. And you see what kind of impact that the Coyotes have had here. The youth programs are growing by leaps and bounds. There are more arenas being built in the Valley, better programs. I think the youth hockey program in Arizona is grown so much, and I think guys like Austin Matthews have a big part of that. You grow up in Arizona, you're the #1 draft pick in the National Hockey League. It sets another generation of excited young players. So we're just trying to keep that energy going. We're trying to keep that introduction of hockey going. And even though a lot of these kids that are in my camp never saw me play,
Right.
it's important that they understand who their parents talk about, who they say their parents were, their friends. They can still go on YouTube and watch videos, and I think that's really important. So to have something like this and A, introduce people to the game, B, get them excited about the game, and C, make them love the game. Absolutely. And that's going to make sure that that hockey gets better in the United States, it gets better here in Arizona, and hopefully in the long run makes the NHL better.
So you're going to be out on a rink today that's named after one of your teammates and Shane Doan out here. Tell me a little bit about what that meant to the growth of hockey and you and Shane's relationship.
We have a great relationship. I've always said that Shane is so nice. Sometimes you want to shake him, like, stop being so nice, stop being so nice. He's a great ambassador to the game. He's been a great ambassador to Arizona, to the Phoenix area. There are not many people that have the heart, right, competitively, and the heart compassionately that Shane Doan has. I think arguably him and probably Larry Fitzgerald are the two biggest names that this town has seen in a long time, at least, having an impact. And, Shane Doan just has one of the biggest hearts that I've ever seen. And everything that he gets here in Arizona, he deserves. And I'm sure he's going to have a bigger role in this team, in this city. And, like me, I don't think he ever wants to leave.
Right. Your camp and NHL retirees like yourself and their families that have been here in the Valley are a lot of reasons why the growth of youth hockey has grown. We get guys that come out and coach and put on camps like this. Yep. It's very important to it. How important do you think that's been? And did you think that was going to be something important when you played here in '96, for example?
I think it's imperative. I mean, it's so important. Kids don't learn the game. Kids don't learn to love the game without having somebody who's already gone through it teach them. Right. It's not like you're just sending kids on the ice and just saying, learn. You got to learn you have to learn from the people that did it the best sometimes. And the Coyotes have been a very good influence, I think, in this city. They built this arena right here, the Ice Den, back in '96. There's another Ice Den out in Glendale. There's another one down in the West Valley. So their influence has been very important, because as of hockey, it's really hard to give the kids the opportunity to play. Ice time is limited.
Right.
Especially in the Valley. There's only a certain amount of rinks. You just can't go into your backyard like you can baseball, football, basketball, and just pick up a game.
Absolutely.
So it becomes very important that the kids need as much help as they possibly can to have the opportunity to learn the game, get on the game, experience it, and then make their decisions from there.
All right, let's take a quick break. Let's come back and talk about your career. I know a lot of these youngsters here have seen you on NBC and some of the things you do with that. So let's come right back. We're back for another quick segment with Jeremy Roenick here at the JR hockey camps. And first of all, thanks again for coming in, because this is a big thing for the Desert Southwest. I know you know how big it is, but the fans in the Desert Southwest appreciate it. I want to talk a little bit about your career, because we talked briefly in the first segment about the kids maybe not knowing your playing days. But I know they know you right now if they watch playoff hockey and they watch hockey on NBC. So talk a little bit of how you got into that and your enjoyment for that, because I see you around. I saw you in Vegas, and I know how much fun you have with it. So tell me a little bit about it.
Yeah, I think, all these kids here now in my camp, they see me on television talking about the game. They see my personality, they get to recognize me because obviously I don't have equipment on, I don't have a helmet on. So it's a different mentality. These kids see me a little bit different. They didn't watch the way I played. Yes, YouTube keeps them, readily close to me and how I played, so they can see how I played, which is a great thing. But, I played the game the way it was supposed to be played, and that was all out, hard work, physical, playing with pain, and doing the right things. And I try to do the same thing in everything that I do, whether it's on television or here, doing my camps. So, it's 20 years is a long time. To be able to accomplish what I did in 20 years, I feel very special. I mean, only 4 Americans ever to score 500 goals. One of 40 in the history of the game to score 500 goals. So, there's a lot of accomplishments that I love, but the accomplishment that I love even more now is being able to give back. And you talk about giving back to the Valley and giving back to the place that I live, and making sure that that you keep that tradition going. Because if we don't do it, nobody's going to do it the right way. I think it's going to be half-hearted. So for me, starting it here in Scottsdale this year, and I'm sure it'll continue on for years.
Okay, so I remember back in your playing days, you talk about playing hurt and playing tough, and one of the things that I'll always remember about you was having your jaw broken and coming back out and playing. And every time I see another athlete in any sport sit out for any reason, I always go, let's play the clip of Jeremy Roenick, because tell me how difficult that was now that you're not playing. How hard was it?
It wasn't difficult at all. It was actually very easy. I don't need my face to play hockey. That was my mentality. I wanted to win. I wanted to win at all costs. I knew my face would heal. That didn't bother me. The hardest part was making sure that everybody let me play.
Right.
That was the hard part. I never looked at my well-being and put that first. I always put winning first and competing first and foremost. But I always one of my favorite sayings of all time is that pain is temporary and pride is forever.
Absolutely.
My pain went away.
Right.
But people always remember what I did. I'll always remember what I did. So, that's a good teaching point that you can tell kids and tell people that, just because it hurts doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. Because that pain is going to go away, but you'll always leave an impression with someone by your actions and the way you carry yourself, and that's always how I've tried to do it.
Now that you're off the ice, tell me about the excitement of covering it and covering playoff hockey, because I can genuinely see, I know 2 years ago when you were in Vegas with Vegas and Washington, you seemed generally excited to see what was happening in the NHL and the growth of it.
I love the game.
Yeah.
I absolutely love the game. I'm a huge fan of it. I think these players today are extremely talented. I think they are, without question, probably the fastest that the game has ever been. They're in the best shape that they've ever been. arguably some of them the most talented that we've ever seen. I mean, I don't think we've ever seen the likes of anybody like Connor McDavid that plays at his level, Nathan McKinnon. So I love to watch the game. I don't think the game is as smart as it used to be. I don't think it's as strategic as it used to be. I don't think it's as tough as it used to be. Okay. I'm in awe of the talent.
Yeah.
But I get frustrated with sometimes the lack of IQ of the way the game is played. Sometimes the brain doesn't go as fast as their bodies are, and that's why you really take the guys that can step out and that can put the speed with the intelligence, and those players are usually always ones that are on top of the leaderboard. But I love the game, and I love being on NBC talking about it. Keeps my influence in the game, keeps my perspective on the game, and I think people want to hear the truth, and I think they want to hear what what they really think. Nobody wants the cliches. Nobody wants the same old mumbo jumbo. They want to hear true, honest opinions, and I try to give them that.
All right, let's take one more quick break. Let's come back and talk about the Coyotes, because I know they're near and dear to your heart, and a lot of big things happening with them. I want to get your opinion on it.
Sure.
All right, we're back with Jeremy Roenick. We're going to wrap things up by talking about something that's really near and dear to your heart, the Arizona Coyotes. You're here with your camp at the Coyotes Ice Den. New ownership this year, and the first time we can say two things about Coyote ownership. It starts with a B in billion, and we can also talk about an Hispanic, the first Hispanic owner. We talk about Arizona, right? It's 40% Hispanic. Your thoughts on, first of all, that aspect of it, bringing Hispanics into the game?
Well, I think number one, new ownership always brings new energy, new ideas, and new hope.
Right.
I think one thing that this team has lacked is the ability to put the proper funds into getting the proper players. They've always tried to keep it to a minimum in terms of their salary structure and the cap that have probably not allowed them to get the type of players that they needed to win hockey games. So number one, bringing in a new owner is going to be great because he's going to influx some money into the program. I think that's really important. I think the job that John Chayka has done in the offseason, being able to go out and get a Phil Kessel, is very, very important because every team needs a star to watch. Every team needs somebody that they can rely on to score a goal, and Phil Kessel is one of those guys that can do that. I think it's going to make Oliver Ekman-Larsson even more hungry. I think it's going to make Clayton Keller even more hungry. You got to hope that Schmaltz stays healthy. You got to hope that Antti Ranta stays healthy. If they can do that, I think they're going to have a tremendous season because what Tockett's built here, the work ethic, the respect, the camaraderie, and the system that he's installed, I think he's built a good culture that if injuries stay to a minimum, you'll see this team in the playoffs in April.
Two things that I noticed, and we'll kind of wrap it up on this, is when I look at the Arizona Coyotes, I think it's always been an arena issue, right? You played downtown, you saw the growth and the moving out to Glendale, and everybody's always talked about the drive. Aaron Cohen, the new president, came in, and CEO came in last year, right? And I think Aaron, whether he said it publicly or not, he said, let's not talk about arenas. Let's talk about growing the game of hockey. Let's build this roster. Let's win some hockey games, and the arena will come. So I look at it that way. Your thoughts on that?
Well, it's definitely the proper and responsible way to answer that question. When you're the president of the team, you have to make sure that you're representing your team properly, and that's exactly what you have to do. And he did it perfectly, because you do have to build a culture. You do have to build a team that is going to acquire the fans, going to keep the fans, and get the fans excited. So yes, the building isn't a bad place, but let's not use that as an excuse of why this team can't win hockey games.
Right.
And by the way, if the team wins hockey games, people are more inclined to get out to arena to watch the games.
Absolutely.
So that's absolutely 100%. I think been on the mind of John Chayka, has been on the mind of obviously ownership with Aaron. Yes, the new building will come. Maybe it'll come now with a new owner. Will it be better on the east side? I think yes. But let's win hockey games first. Because if you win hockey games, you acquire fans, you get more excitement, and with that comes more tickets sold, which obviously leads to the perspective of getting a better building. And it's all a process. So let's make sure we do the right processes at the right time.
Sounds very good. I'm going to leave it on one note. I'm going to let you talk about ASU hockey because collegiate hockey is something that's also near and dear to you. The growth of ASU hockey, did you think in 1996 that you were going to see an NCAA team and then watch it rise like this?
No, not especially how well that they came into the league. They have one of the best recruiting ability to, hey, go to practice in flip-flops. Not a bad way to spend your hockey. One of the best towns in college sports. ASU is obviously known as a very fun school. A lot of beautiful women, a lot of good weather, and then you can play Division I hockey. Trust me, that's top-notch recruiting for me. So I wish them the best. I'm sure they'll continue to get better. I know a lot of kids are actually committed to coming here, and one thing that they need more than ever, and I hope they get it done, is they need an arena worse than the Coyotes do. So can't have them playing in Oceanside anymore because I think it depletes their image and it depletes their what they're doing down there. But once they do that, they're going to be one of the best organizations in all NCAA.
Jeremy, I think I can speak for everybody in the Valley and certainly in the Desert Southwest. It's a pleasure having you back. It's a pleasure to have your camp. I hope it's here for about another 100 years.
I wish I was here for another 100 years. Unfortunately, I'm turning 50, so I got to have.
Oh, come on. I'm 57. Give me a break.
Well, that means I'd be 150. So, yeah, as much as I'd like to live there, no, I already feel bad enough as it is on the ice, so I'm good.
JR, thanks for the time. Appreciate it.